Congresswoman Angie Craig speaking out just days after she was assaulted in her D.C. apartment building. The suspect, Kendra Hamlin, is set to face a judge tomorrow in relation to the attack. Craig says Hamlin followed her into her elevator, asked to use her bathroom. When she refused, Congresswoman Craig says he blocked her from leaving the elevator and punched her in the face. Congresswoman Craig says she escaped by fighting back. Luckily, she had a hot cup of coffee on her. She was able to throw that at him. And Congresswoman Craig is now out front. And Congresswoman, look, this is, just to even hear this, I'm so glad you're okay. I mean, it's disturbing and terrifying. You get in an elevator, something like this happens. I mean, it's really terrifying. What else can you tell me about what happened and when you realized that there was something really wrong?
Well, it was clear from the start that I was going to have to try to reason with him in the beginning to get out of the elevator. He slipped in just as my doors were closing. And of course, I tried to stop the progress of the elevator immediately and ask him to get out of my elevator. But he insisted on following me up, wouldn't get out. And so, look, at the end of the day, he jumped in front of the buttons of the elevator, asked to go to my apartment. And there was no way in hell he was going to get to my apartment. So I had to do whatever I could do to fight my way out of that elevator.
I mean, that's, and I know it happened I'm sure all this happened very quickly. When you look back at it, though, it's you break it up piece by piece. I mean, what went through your mind when this was happening? He blocks the elevator buttons. At this point, he'd be truly terrified. And did you even think at the moment about your coffee, or was that just sort of instinctual to use that hot liquid?
Well, I think when he asked to go to my apartment is when fight or flight really kicked in for me. He did jump in front of the buttons. At that point, I tried to move him out of the way. He got behind me at that point, and I dumped the coffee on him. At some point in this scuffle, he punched me. He sort of pushed me up against one of the elevator walls. And as the doors opened on the floor that we finally arrived at, he still didn't want to let me out of the elevator. So I don't know that I had time to think. Quite candidly, I did what I needed to do to get out of that elevator, and I'm really lucky that he didn't have a weapon. I suppose now that I know his arrest history, I feel really, really lucky today to be here in Minnesota talking to you.
Absolutely, and I mean, one can only imagine if he had had a weapon, what could have happened. The suspect is believed to be homeless, and you mentioned his prior record. I understand there were 12 prior assaults on that record. Some did have a dangerous weapon, so there were times he did have that. I know he's due back in court tomorrow, and he could face up to 10 years behind bars if convicted. Congresswoman, what do you want to see happen here?
Well, number one, I don't want there to be a 14th victim. It really is just unbelievable that I was the 13th assault. And the reason we're having a conversation here today, and probably the reason that he could be held, is because I'm a member of Congress, and this is being adjudicated in federal court this time, unlike the other 12 instances. What do I want to see happen? I want Americans, and especially women, to feel safe in their communities. And to me, that means we've got to focus our effort on public safety, making sure the people who shouldn't be released aren't. But at the same time, I sit here and I think to myself, how did this happen 12 times in America with addiction, with homelessness, with mental health issues, and this individual served 10 days, 30 days? That's no time to be able to get the help that this individual needs either. So if I can stop there from being a 14th or a 15th or a 20th assault, I'm going to do that. But at the same time, it really does emphasize the intersection of all of these issues we're facing as a country.
It absolutely does. Now, on the heels of this, President Biden called you, the vice president called you, a senator from your state, Amy Klobuchar, I know, came to see you. Today happens to be your birthday. And I mentioned that in the context of, in a few days, you've gone through a terrifying assault. You've now got the sort of thinking about life that a birthday can bring. You've got the president, the vice president calling you, right? This has been an unexpected and an awful experience, but I wonder whether all of this has changed your view at all of what you can and what you want to do in Congress.
Well, I think it has to change me. At the end of the day, I was focused on addiction, on mental health as a member of Congress, but I'm going to be even more focused on these issues. I'm headed to the border tomorrow, in fact, with a number of colleagues to talk about fentanyl coming into our community and the addiction challenges we have. And at the end of the day, I hope that we can put our heads together to actually solve the issues of the day. All of these topics end up being political wedge issues in Washington. Which party can use it against the other to try to divide us? And I'm not interested in any of the nonsense, Aaron. We've got to make sure that people are safe in their communities, and we've got to make sure that people can get the mental health and addiction treatment that they need.
Congresswoman Craig, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and for sharing all of that with us.
Thank you.